Hey guys, it's FreeRes91, and I have a question. Now, before I get to the question, let me explain where this is coming from. I was watching GameScoop on IGN, and they were basically saying, is there room for a fourth console? Now, that got me to thinking, right? Because it is true. Is there room for a fourth console? Do we have enough gamers that we can support four consoles owned by different companies, and all of them can coincide with each other? Now, that's not my actual question. My question is this: have there ever been four consoles? Now, obviously there have been four consoles at a time before, but what I mean is this: has there ever been a time where the gamers have been able to support four consoles owned by different companies, and each console has basically held its own? So if you go back in history, I don't think there has been. Let's go back to NES days. Now, the other consoles that were out then, I think they were all basically Atari or Atari knockoffs or copycat Ataris, whatever they were. So I'm not really counting the NES right now, but when Super Nintendo, not when it came out, but during the Super Nintendo era, there was I believe the original PlayStation, and there was the Sega. Right, so that's three: Nintendo, Sega, and Sony. I don't think there was four that ever really kind of entered the console wars during that time. And then the only time that I remember there being four consoles was when there was Microsoft's Xbox, Sega's Dreamcast, Nintendo's GameCube, and the PS2, I believe, were out all around the same time. And we know what happened to the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast was the one that bit the bullet. Yep. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't think there ever has been in video game console history a time where four consoles, I'm talking about mainstream consoles, I'm not talking about those little knockoff consoles or whatever. I wouldn't even really count those as video game consoles like that, even though they technically are. But has there ever been a time where four huge consoles have really been able to thrive and survive against each other? And that's my question. Because I'm thinking back in history, I'm thinking right now, it's the Wii U, it's the Xbox One, and it's the PS4. So once again, it's Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. Just like last year, it was Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. Now, we do have the Steam machines, and I think they're already out, and at least some are. And then we have the Ouya, which kind of, I'm going to say failed. At this point, I'm going to say the Ouya failed. That's just my opinion, to actually at least amount to anything close to the other consoles. And we have, I think, Apple and maybe even Google maybe throwing their hat in the ring. Not exactly sure, but personally, I don't think we can support more than three. If you look at history, even with the growth of gamers now, the problem is even though gamers themselves there are a lot more gamers now, I want to say, than there were in the past. To make these consoles and to make the games for the consoles have become a lot more expensive. So even though we have, I believe, more gamers now than we ever have had before, I think because it's so expensive and they require so much more money now for each console to be considered successful, I don't think that we can have four and they all can survive with one another. I think that even if a fourth console tried to come in and be mainstream, that they would have to eventually, it would either knock off one of the big three right now, either Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft, or it would have to take a back seat. That's my personal opinion. I do not think that, based on history, I do not think that we can support more than three major consoles at a time. We being people who buy the consoles and the games, I mean. Anyway, that's what I had to say. Tell me what you guys think. Do you think that we can, or maybe one day in the future, we will be able to actually have four different consoles owned by four different companies, and they'll be able to live amongst each other, so to speak? Or do you guys think that three is the top amount we can have at any one time for each console to actually survive during each generation? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and may God bless you all.